City.ca, and this is the Community Roundup, which is sponsored by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. And today I am at the National Historic Tse'Kwa site. How are you? With Alyssa Currie, the Executive Director of the Tse'Kwa Heritage Society.
Correct.
There's two names, you threw it at me.
I know.
All right, and you have just held your first event in this the newly renovated space. I say renovated, it's all outdoors, I think, as far as I know.
It is, yes.
You can see some of the new additions behind us here. So we're going to talk a little bit about how the event went yesterday, and I'm going to try to find a place where I can stay on screen. And we're going to talk a little bit about the funding that you received yesterday. So let's start off with the funding. You received a quite significant donation yesterday.
Yes. Yesterday on National Indigenous Peoples Day, we received the largest corporate financial contribution to date for Tse'Kwa, $400,000 from Ovintiv.
Wow. So
it's very exciting.
That is incredibly exciting. So how is that funding going to be utilized, and when will we kind of start to see I don't want to say the effects of the funding, but the benefit?
So that funding is going to be distributed over the next 3 years and is going to contribute towards infrastructure development of the site for a visitor-ready experience. Part of the financial gift that Ovintiv has granted us is advance notice of the funding support, which we can then use to apply for further grants and leverage for additional funding. So knowing the amount of the financial contribution is a great gift. The gift itself is fantastic, but also being able to use that to plan ahead, and in the next 3 years you'll really see some substantial changes as a result of that funding.
I was just commenting that it's changed so much since the archaeological dig last year. That wasn't there for starters. Neither were those or those. Let's unpack what a visitor-ready experience looks like.
So the purpose of Tse'Kwa is to create a space where people can come and gather and learn and celebrate the Denizah language and heritage that's been here for 12,500 years.
Just a little bit of time.
Just a bit of time.
Yeah.
The site itself previously was a residential, privately owned property, and so bringing our property up to the necessary infrastructure to support visitors includes things like wheelchair accessible bathrooms that you see behind us, our archaeology dome where we can showcase some of the ongoing archaeology work that's happening at Tse'Kwa, the amphitheater that we are standing in that's nearly finished.
It's gorgeous. We didn't really show you that. We didn't really do it justice. I might at some point in the interview turn around, but it's gorgeous. You got some lovely berries over there.
Yes, we have some native plants around the amphitheater, and it provides seating for up to 60 people, approximately 2 classrooms, to be able to come and share storytelling, drumming, and events like yesterday, National Indigenous Peoples Day, where we welcomed over 200 members of the public to come and experience the site with us.
Mm-hmm. And what does that mean for the site going forward as kind of like a museum and being able to spread that knowledge? Like, this contribution is huge, both financially and then the benefit that you will have.
Yes, Ovintiv has always demonstrated that they are an ally and a partner to our Indigenous community members, and this is an incredible example of that generosity and support that they're providing to not only Tse'Kwa but our Indigenous communities throughout Treaty 8. And so this really it's an opportunity for us to share this space with as many people as possible, and to share the stories and the history and the language that comes along with 12,500 years of human occupation at this site.
Mm-hmm. I know that, given the nature of Ovintiv and, the nature of the relationship with Indigenous people, there are maybe some people that are kind of like, I don't know how to describe that face that I just made, but, what are your thoughts, when people kind of tense up a little bit when they see an energy company giving a donation like this to an Indigenous site?
Yeah, well, I would say that Ovintiv in particular has been a supporter of Tse'Kwa certainly since I've started working here. They were one of our first financial supporters for our training programs when we were training Indigenous community members to raise capacity in our community. And a site like this does not happen without community support, and it does not happen without a substantial amount of community support. The infrastructure that you see around you takes a lot of money, and as a nonprofit, we are relying on the generosity of others, whether that be government or industry or community, to make this a reality for us. And so, for me, this is an example of Oventive in good faith, working with the Indigenous community members and supporting a program like this to bring the heritage to life. I would say that we appreciate any level of financial support from any members of our community, but a gift of this size is going to make a huge difference for Tse'K'wa in making the site a reality of the dream of the elders and the ancestors that have been hoping and planning for this site to become what it is today.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, just again, seeing the changes that have happened over the past year, where am I going? Seeing how that has, occurred, how are you feeling kind of going forward?
Well, yesterday was I keep saying yesterday, National Indigenous Peoples Day was, such a great opportunity for us to welcome the public in to show off the work that we've been doing. We have been closed for the last 2 years off and on to do infrastructure and construction work. Those closures are for safety of the public so that we can present a site that is as safe as possible for our community. So we are still under construction and there's still a lot of work to be done, but this is a first chance for us to give the public a sneak peek at the work that we've been doing and to show that even though we have been closed, it's worth it. Yeah. We think the beautiful new trail and amphitheater and dome are all fantastic new improvements for the public's benefit.
And what was the feedback like from members of the public after being able to kind of take a look at what you guys have been up to for the last 2 years?
The feedback was overwhelmingly incredibly positive. Both Indigenous and non-Indigenous community members came yesterday to celebrate with us. From many of the elders' perspectives, they were excited to see a vision of theirs come to life, come to fruition. This is something they have talked about and dreamed about for so long, and to see the physical, tangible results of that vision, that was really rewarding for them. The members of the general public, the non-Indigenous public, were really excited to get a look into the Indigenous perspective of this site and get some insight into why the community feels this is so important. We also had some school kids come out from the Charlie Lake Elementary, and they were blown away. They were very excited to see the place that they'll get to come back to in future field school or field trips and other school visits. So overwhelmingly, we heard really positive feedback from people, and the gift from Oventive was well supported by everyone. It's really an example of our community coming together for this cause.
Absolutely. Let's talk about what's kind of in the future for you guys, because I know that you are currently closed.
Yes.
What are those closures looking like going forward?
So we're hoping by the end of this summer that we will be open to the public for outdoor experiences. We have focused for the last 2 years on providing a self-guided experience, and that is so that the public can come on their own time and see the site at their own pace with all the information that they need to have a successful visit. We're hoping this fall to open up to school visits, and as we're growing capacity as an organization, that we'll be able to host more and more events here. As soon as all of our construction is done, I know I keep saying that, I hope the public will be patient with us as we're...
just like 100th Street.
I know, yes. Construction takes a very long time. As we've discovered, we're really hoping to wrap things up as soon as possible so that we can have the public out to the site. Mm-hmm. As eager as the community is to come out to the site, I promise we are just as eager to have everyone come out and join us.
Absolutely. Is there any kind of timeline, or are we just kind of...
We don't have a timeline yet. Okay. We've had a few timelines that we've passed. So yep. We're at this point, we're aiming for as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Just to get a view of the amphitheater, let's switch things up a little bit before I let you go for the day. I'm going to put it right there. So this is it. This is the amphitheater.
This is the amphitheater. So below us we have a flagstone stage. Behind us you have our corten steel backdrop, which echoes sound back into our audience. And soon to come is canvas sails that will cover the seating and the stage area so that we can host events in the sun. It's very warm today, and it will be an opportunity to have some shade for the community. We're also bringing in a portable fire pit that we'll be able to use so that we can have fire, which is of course very important to ceremony and cultural sharing. So those are still to come, hopefully in the next month or so.
Awesome. And, you know, again, you kind of touched on a little bit, but what kind of events will this amphitheater be able to support?
Well, we designed the amphitheater around 60 people. Our goal for that was to accommodate at least 2 classrooms or other public events. Yesterday, we celebrated with drumming and singing, being able to share that with our community. We also hope to be able to share academic talks. Of course, Tse'K'wa has a long history with academia through Simon Fraser University, and now more recently also with UNBC. So we'd love to be able to host public talks and public opportunities at the site for community members to come in and hear what's so significant about Tse'K'wa, both from a cultural perspective and an archaeological perspective.
That sounds fascinating.
Yes.
And, oh man, am I going to write down your questions? What's the best way for the public to stay in touch with goings on at Tse'K'wa?
Well, we are in the process of launching a brand new website, www.tse'kwa.ca, that very soon is going to have all of the information coming out. But in the meantime, you can follow Tse'K'wa Heritage on Facebook, and all of our events will be posted there. We do our best as well to advertise through the media, and we really appreciate the support that we get in sharing those news with the community.
You bet. Anything else you want to add before I let you go today?
I think that's it. Thank you so much for coming, and really thank you to all of the community members that came out yesterday to celebrate National Indigenous Peoples Day with us.
Absolutely.
Great.
All right. Well, this has been the Community Roundup, which is sponsored by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. I'm Spencer with energeticcity.ca, and my terrible memory will not let me forget Alyssa Currie with the Tse'K'wa Heritage Society. High five. I remembered the name. All right. If you want to check out other community roundups, you can head over to energeticcity.ca. And I appreciate you watching this one and really all of them. Have yourself a good day.